All right, welcome out this evening to the first episode of the Universal Sports podcast. This is my podcast. My name is Gabriel Trevino, where we talk professional sports, football, baseball, MLB, NBA, NFL, college, uh, and golf. We do UFC, boxing. We do it all. And I put this podcast together because I watch sports like 24/7. I get into professional sports, college football, and all this, the good stuff. So I wanted to bring something out. It's not on video, it's just an audio, but it's just to kind of engage with people. I know a lot of people don't like to go on camera. So I just want to come out and give my thoughts on sports. I spent a lot of time researching and reading about teams and stuff. So I wanted to come out and just tell people what I think about what's happened. So this evening, we're definitely going to be talking NFL at the wild card round. Some good games over the weekend, two games on Saturday, three on Sunday, and then the big game last night on Monday. So it was really good. So it's going to be a short podcast. Just going to give my thoughts. You guys can respond back. I'll post this over on the Universal Sports Facebook, Twitter page. And then we also on the YouTube as well, Universal YouTube channel. And then also we transferred over to Anchor or Spotify. So when you're driving, if you want to hear what I have to say, you can also tune into that. So we're going to kind of expand where the podcast will go from here on out. So this is something I'll probably do every day, short podcast or every other day. Right now, the NFL season is ending. So once that ends, and definitely I'll jump into the NBA, some college hoops as well. Texas top 10. The Houston Cougars are number one right now. So I pay attention to that. UFC, some fights coming up on the 21st of January. We talk about that. Some boxing. I'll even do a little bit of golf and stuff. So definitely, I want you guys to kind of interact with me if you can. I also have an audio channel. You have to be a member, I believe, of the GT Sports Poll. It's a Facebook and Twitter page that I have, but on the Facebook, I put up polls where people can vote. I also created an audio channel. It's called Real Sports Fans. I have it on pretty much when I get out of work. People can come in, tune out, come in, and you can talk anything you want to talk to. Even when I'm working in the office, I have it on. People can climb and chime in, and we can talk football, basketball, baseball, soccer, what high school, college, pro, whatever you want to talk about. This is all in engaging with the voting and just, people can just kind of talk. And, people ask me, can we use profanity? Because I know you don't like to, for us to use profanity on the podcast. And I said, man, this is not live. If you want to come in and vent a little bit, you can come on to the audio channel right now. I just have created a GT Sports Poll audio channel, and you can vent there. You can talk to me there. And we can talk sports. It's kind of like the online when people used to go to the barber shop and just talk sports. This is kind of the same thing, but it's just online chat. So you can come on. I'll post the link over on to the GT Sports Facebook page, and you guys will know when I'm on, and then you can just drop in. And we can talk sports, and you guys meet up. There's people from up north, down south, out of state that can just chime in and talk. So you can vent, you can say whatever you want on that audio channel. It's all about engaging and talking about your favorite team and telling us why, like right now with football, why you think your team is going to go to the Super Bowl for those playoff teams that are there. So we've got that as well, and I'll be posting more of that on our on my Facebook and Twitter page. Give out more information how you can join in if you would like to join in. That's something I'll have every evening. Sometimes if I'm off during the day, I'll have it on. I have a device where I just strictly just have it on. I can carry it with me in the car when I'm traveling, so I can talk to people when I'm driving, when I'm at the house, when I'm in the office. The only time I can't have it on, of course, is when I'm at work. But outside of that, I'll have it on the rest of the time. Hopefully, I can engage with you guys. It's called Real Sports Fans, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about. So we'll talk more about that later on in the days to come. But I have created that a few days ago. I had some guys on last night while the Dallas Cowboys game was on. So that was fun. So hopefully we'll continue to generate more people to kind of join in. You can join in with the camera. or you can join in without the camera, just your voice and talk. But I think that'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully that'll pick up as well. But as far as the podcast, this is episode number 1, Universal Sports, USP, US Universal Sports Podcast. And I'm probably going to come on, like I said, every day or every other day, just talking about different sports stuff that's being headline, and just kind of give you my thoughts on what I think is going on in the sports world. And you're more than welcome to give me some feedback on the comment section, or like I said, join in my audio channel, Real Sports Fans, and we can talk all day about sports if you like. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into the wild card round this weekend. Some really good games. I'll start off with the first game on Saturday. It was the Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Myself, I voted, I predicted that the San Francisco 49ers would win this game. They just look really good right now. They look tough. The defense is healthy, and they're probably the best defense in the NFL right now of the teams that are left in the playoffs. They started out with some injuries with Trey Lance, and then they went out with Garoppolo. So they bring in a third string quarterback. And I even thought, like most people, man, San Francisco's doomed. This kid has just come in and played phenomenal. I mean, he's just been playing lights out. And even though Seattle made the playoffs, I just thought San Francisco was a complete team and they would take the win. So I predicted that the 49ers would win. They did get the win on Saturday, 41-23. Just a dominant performance. I mean, you see, Deebo Samuels, you got Kittle, you got McCaffrey that joined them this year. I mean, this team is they just got a lot of weapons, man. So they get the big win. They advance next week. Brock Purdy for the 49ers was 18 of 30 for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns, man. This kid is just continuing to play lights out every game, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts on this kid later on. Christian McCaffrey, this guy's healthy, and when he's healthy, he can play for the 49ers. Had 15 carries, 119 yards. Deebo Samuel on the air, 6 receptions for 133 yards. These are the two big guys. Deebo doing it through the air, getting over 100 yards, and they got Christian McCaffrey on the ground over 100 yards. I mean, this is why I said this team is very difficult to beat, on top of the fact that they have a great defense. For the Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, I thought he played pretty good throughout the season. He was 25 of 35 in this game for 253 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. The guy that had the big game for the Seahawks, DK Metcalf, 10 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 TDs. And that guy is a beast. But again, I just thought San Francisco was going to be tough. I didn't think Seattle had a chance to beat them. They had taken them out. They're the division rivals. But I think for Pete Carroll, getting Seattle into the playoffs was just that in itself, was great to see Seattle in there. But they just went up against a team that was just tough with more weapons. Moving forward, will Geno Smith be the guy that we will see running the offense for Seattle? Time will tell. I would think that they would. I don't know that they have anybody else right now that can take over the reins. I'm not sure who they would. The draft is coming up and what they'll have, but I think Geno Smith did enough to be able to start next year with 1 year under his belt. Let's see what this guy did. But I thought he did okay. He wasn't phenomenal, but taking a team first time into the playoffs, that's a step in the right direction. So we'll see where they go. But definitely San Francisco is looking like the team to beat right now with all of the teams that are left in the playoffs, including the 3 powerhouses in the AFC. You got Buffalo, Cincinnati, and you have Kansas City, but I got to tell you, I think the complete team are the San Francisco 49ers with a great coach in Kyle Shanahan. So we'll see what happens, but definitely San Francisco advancing to the next round. We'll go to the next game that was played Saturday evening. You had the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Jacksonville looked kind of like early in the season like they were done. They got on a little hot streak, win a couple of games. Toward the end, guess they get into the playoffs. and they got a very young, talented quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Could Trevor actually, Trevor Lawrence, first time in the postseason, even for Justin Herbert, young quarterback, first time in the playoffs. What would give? I predicted that the Chargers would win. I just thought that Herbert had played, been in the NFL just a little bit longer, had a little bit more talent, had those receivers. Of course, they had one of the receivers, main target, out with an injury, but I still thought they had enough to win this game. So I predicted that the Chargers would win. I had it wrong. So as of Saturday, I'm 1 for 1. Jacksonville, the Jaguars, they come back to take a win. This was a great game to see. I watched it from beginning to end. I mean, just never seen anything like this. The Jaguars get the 1 point win, 31-30. Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars, 28 of 47 for 288 yards. He had 4 interceptions at the start of the game. I mean, this guy, he had just a bad first half. I mean, I just looking at that first half, I said they're just done. But he comes back in the second half, turns it around, gets 4 touchdowns, and is able to carry his team on to advance to the next round with the 1 point lead, 1 point win. So just a phenomenal second half performance by Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne Jr. for the Jaguars, 20 carries, 109 yards. Justin Herbert for the Chargers, 25 of 43 for 273 yards and 1 touchdown. Gerald Everett, 6 receptions for the Chargers, broke the 100-yard with the 109 yards and 1 TD. So again, when you're the Chargers and you're up 27-0, you can't lose that game. You just can't lose that game, right? Like you're up. It doesn't really look like Jacksonville's going to get back in this game because even though they're playing at home, you have a young quarterback throwing 4 interceptions. You just think, okay, he's done. I mean, he's not going to be able to bounce back from this. He's just having a bad game. Credit Trevor Lawrence. I mean, this guy comes back. Don't know what was said at halftime, but man, he comes back and he's able to turn it just completely around, gets 4 touchdowns, gets a 1 point lead. Great job by Lawrence and those Jacksonville Jaguars. But I want to talk a little bit about the Chargers. You can't lose this game. I mean, Staley, you can't lose this game. You've got to be able to do something to stop the bleeding. I think that they let Trevor Lawrence get 1 touchdown, starting to feel a little bit better. Then he comes in, gets into a rhythm. They couldn't get to him, kind of rattle him, and he got going. And they made some plays. And then offensively, just the Chargers couldn't do anything. I mean, they just went completely gone. Like they couldn't do anything. And the interesting part was even when the Chargers were getting those turnovers and they were scoring, I felt even watching that game, it never really felt to me like the Chargers were completely in control. I just always kind of felt like, man, it didn't feel like they're going to win this game, right? But I didn't think Trevor Lawrence could actually come back and pull it out. But I never got that feel, oh, yeah, they're going to dominate. And then, you get some turnovers on the Jaguar side and you kick in field goals and you're not getting touchdowns, right? And then that just keeps, if you look at the score, you're like, man, this is still reachable for the Jaguars, right? Never really felt like, to me, that the Chargers were in control. Sure enough, Trevor Lawrence comes back, brings them back. What a great comeback victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they get the 1 point win, like I said. I heard reports. I thought Staley would be fired. I really did. To me, it was like, okay, I mean, 27-0, you lose this. They're probably going to move in a different direction. Sean Payton's out there. That's a guy that I think any organization would want as a coach. He's a winning coach. He's a great coach. He's really good offensively. So he's out there. Why not take a shot with him? But reports that I've read before I came on this podcast is that Staley reports are saying that he's going to stay with the Chargers. I'm kind of surprised at that move. But we'll see what happens. That's just some rumors that are out there, but they're probably true. But it looks like right now he's going to remain the coach for the Chargers. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I'm not the owner. And we'll see what happens. But definitely he's got some talent out there. He's got to do better than the wild card. A lot of people at the beginning of the season that I talked to thought that this team could go to the Super Bowl. I think they're still far from it. They've got the talent. They got a great quarterback, some good receivers, but they got to put it together and just being up 27-0 and then taking that loss. That's just bad. And they got to figure things out. And so we'll see if Staley will come back next year for this team as their coach. But like I said, everything points that way right now. We'll go now and move over to Sunday. Three games on the schedule Sunday. The first one at 12 with the Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills, traveling to Buffalo. Man, you look at this game. We're talking about this game all week. I'm talking to my buddies, my football guys, and I'm saying, man, Miami has no shot. Like Tua's out. They're down to their third string quarterback. Their running back is hurt. I mean, they have a couple of guys on the offensive line that are hurt. I mean, they're not even going to compete. They're going to get blown out. They're going to go to Buffalo, and they're going to get blown out, right? Like they don't have a chance in the world against a Buffalo team that offensively, man. I mean, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Knox. I mean, they just got the whole. They got just offensively. They're a great football team, right? So you think Buffalo's going to win 3 touchdowns plus. And they start off really good. I mean, Buffalo starts off strong. They're looking like they're going to take this game, and then here comes Miami making it a game. And really, they were a play here, a play there, and Miami's advancing, and Buffalo's at home. It did not go Miami's way. But boy, what a performance by the Miami Dolphins going into Buffalo and putting on. I mean, you can't ask this team to play any harder than they did. Mistakes down the line toward the end of the game really hurt them. But just the competitive, just not falling down and just saying, "Hey, look, we don't have our studs, man. We're just going to come in here and just lay an egg." These guys played. They put themselves in a position to win the game, and even though they didn't, man, I'm really proud. I mean, I was like really shocked and said, "Man, this coach." Pretty good coach. Right? When I look at him, he doesn't look like a coach to me. He doesn't talk like a coach, but man, this guy's got something special there, right? With these guys, he had them focused no matter what, who he was coming in with. He had that quarterback pretty prepared, and they played a really good Buffalo team and almost won. Like I said, a play here, a play there, man. These guys are going to the next round. They end up taking the loss 34-31. Josh Allen for Buffalo, 23 of 39, 352 yards, 3 TDs, but 2 costly interceptions. Stephon Diggs for the Buffalo Bills, 7 receptions, 114 yards. No surprise there. Skylar Thompson for the Miami Dolphins, 18 of 45, 220 yards, 1 TD. He had the 2 interceptions. I had the Buffalo Bills winning. Buffalo got the win, so I was right on my prediction. But I got to tell you, I'm a little concerned about those Buffalo Bills, and I'll tell you why. Miami comes in here pretty beaten up, and they almost win this game. You're at home. You didn't play your best game. I think Buffalo's in trouble. I really do. They've got Cincinnati coming in, but Josh Allen, as good as he is, he's turned the ball over. Von Miller isn't there on the defense. You can score on this defense, I think. But Cincinnati will be a lot tougher than Miami. I'm wondering where Buffalo will be. They've got to play Buffalo Bill football. Cincinnati's going to go in there and beat them if they don't. And they really, and I have Buffalo early on in the season picked as a team I thought would go to the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to change my prediction. I'm going to stick to the Bills. They're a great offensive team. They're a good defensive team, probably even a great defensive team, but they're not playing good football right now. They are winning, with a last minute drive or another team isn't performing or turning the ball over, but they should have dominated this game. The Dolphins should have never been in this game. And Buffalo turned the ball over and kept Miami in this game. And this is what makes it dangerous when a team that you're up early on and then you let this team come back, that team starts to build confidence in themselves. They think, okay, we can play with these guys, you know. And so now the game starts to change, right? And now this team starts getting confidence. And when that young team starts to get confidence and you continue to turn the ball over and make some mistakes here and there, all of a sudden you can lose the game. Anything can happen. So the fact that Buffalo wasn't able to control this game scares me a little bit. Like I said, I'm sticking with my pick. I have these guys going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to change it now, but I am very concerned with what I saw the Bills play versus the Dolphins, and with now Cincinnati coming into town, um, I'm a little concerned. I know they're going to play at home, but I think this is anyone's game. But I think Buffalo's going to have to play a lot better than what I saw this past weekend if they want to beat the Bengals, because that performance just didn't do it for me. That's not a team I think that can win the Super Bowl if they continue to play that way or won't even get there. So great win. They got the win. I hear people say, well, the win's a win. Yeah, it is. But the way you played, the turnovers are a concern. Letting a team like that had no business coming down to the wire is a little concerning if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, if you're a coach. So they got to get it right here. This AFC is going to be tough. You got to get past the Bengals. You're probably going to have to get past the Kansas City Chiefs. These are two really tough teams with the Buffalo Bills. So you play like this, one of these two teams are going to beat you. So we'll see what happens in the next round. Buffalo will advance, but I am a little concerned with what I saw, the performance that they put up, or that they allowed Miami to continue to stay in the game. And hell, Miami, one play here, one play there, and we're talking about these guys going into the next round, and Buffalo's sitting at home on the couch. So very lucky the Buffalo won, but boy, I got to tell you, Miami came in and they certainly didn't lay down. They gave it everything they had, and you got to respect McDaniels, the coach, and that organization and those players for coming in there and almost getting that win. So we'll see what happens next week with the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about that down the road here this week. We'll go over now to the fourth game that was played on Sunday. You had the New York Football Giants taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I had the Minnesota Vikings winning this game. They were at home. I was concerned about the Vikings. This team offensively is pretty good. Defensively, they're really bad. You saw during the season when they lose, they lose. So I know that Kirk Cousins, they have Cook, they have Jeffrey, they have some studs, and that offense can score. They're one of the best offenses this year, right? But their defense was really bad. They were not very good. You really can't. You've got to score a lot of points if you're Minnesota to win ball games. And I thought that the Giants had a chance to win this game, but I thought Minnesota's offense at home thought it would be a high-scoring game. I said but Minnesota, I think, will pull it out by 3 points, a field goal or something. They'll get it done. Well, I was wrong, because the New York Giants go into Minnesota and get the win and will advance next weekend. They beat the Vikings 31-24. I think if you're a Viking fan, you really got to be upset. I mean, you should have won this game, and you got to get better at defense, right? But Daniel Jones for the New York Giants, 24 of 35 for 301 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. The thing with Daniel Jones is he also ran the ball. He had 17 carries. He carried the ball 17 times, rushed 17 times. He had 78 yards. This is what makes Daniel Jones dangerous to me. It's a guy that can run the ball. 78 yards may seem like it's not a lot, but it is. It is. I think he actually led rushing. He had more than anybody else rushing the ball. This is something Daniel Jones can do, I think. I don't know. I didn't put on my notes what Barkley had. So Barkley might have had more yards than him. I'm not sure. I didn't put it on my notes, so I apologize. But I know he had 78 yards, which is really good for a quarterback. Barkley didn't break over 100 yards, I know, but I don't know what he ended up with as far as total yards for this game. But Isaiah Hoggins for the New York Giants, 8 receptions, 105 yards, 1 TD. For the Vikings, Kirk Cousins, 31 for 39, 273 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings, 10 receptions, 129 yards. So again, there's not a problem, I think, with the Vikings offense. It's their defense. The defense just can't keep you in the game. and you've got to be able to score a lot of points. So congratulations to the New York Football Giants, right, getting the win. It's going to be a good battle next weekend when they take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Definitely looking forward to seeing that game, and I'll give my predictions. But for Minnesota, I think it's upsetting. You should have won this game. But you can only score 24 points, and that defense gave up 31 points. And if you don't have a defense, you're not going to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't care how good your offense is. That's just my opinion. But defense wins championships. You hear that all the time, right? Your offense isn't always going to click. Your quarterback is going to struggle. You might get some turnovers. You need to have a solid defense to give you an opportunity to win. Because in this league, if you have to outscore somebody, yeah, you may get into playoffs and you may be able to get a win around here, maybe even two. But I don't think you can actually win a Super Bowl if your team if your defense isn't very good. Now I don't know the stats. I don't know that maybe there is in the NFL history a team that really wasn't good defensively and won a Super Bowl. I'd have to take a look at that. But I don't think you can win one just thinking here out loud, right? I don't think that they can actually win a game if you don't have a good defense. You've got to be able to shut some good offenses down because the NFL has some good offenses, right? So you can't depend on your offense to outscore the other offense or score 30 plus points every game. It's just not going to happen all the time. So they'll have to work on that defense. Great season for the Minnesota Vikings, but they do take the loss. The New York Giants, like I said, will advance. And I'll let you know my predictions later on in the week on who I think will win, the Giants or the Eagles. The next game on Sunday, and the last one that was played on Sunday, were the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a game on Sunday. I had the Cincinnati Bengals winning this game. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. I love this kid. I wasn't an LSU fan, but I'm a fan of Joe Burrow. I loved what he did in college. I think this guy is a football player. When you talk about football players, he's a football player. He's calm. We saw that in college, and I just think he's a heck of a football player. So even though I'm not a Bengals fan, I am a Joe Burrow a fan. This kid can really play some football. So I thought that they would win. You had Baltimore coming in. Baltimore, no Lamar Jackson. What are really the chances that you can win a game without your stud quarterback? Well, the Baltimore Ravens have one heck of a defense. And I just talked about this with the Vikings, right? You're always going to be in a game because you have a solid defense. So even though your stud quarterback's out and he does a lot for you, you always have a chance to win. You never know what the other team's going to do because you have a solid defense, and defenses can keep you in ball games where you could probably have a drive, kick a field goal. So good defenses keep you in the game and give you an opportunity to win, whether your stud quarterback's there or not. This game was really, really close. Baltimore, one play here, one play there. They could be advancing. I mean, Cincinnati gets to win 24-17, but it was that Baltimore defense that actually kept them in the game. Now they didn't win it, but they were competitive without their stud quarterback. So like Buffalo, I'm a little shocked that Cincinnati, wasn't able to win by a bigger margin. But then they're playing a really good defense. I mean, Buffalo was playing Miami, and we already talked about that. But the Vikings, people tell me, well, the Bengals really didn't win by, and the Ravens could have beat them without Lamar Jackson. I said, well, I understand that. But the Ravens have a great defense, it's a better defense than the Dolphins. So I'm not shocked by that score. I thought they would win by at least 10 points, 17 points. So it was close. Baltimore did have a chance to win, but it's that defense. And so when we were talking the next day, I said, look, listen, guys, the guys I was talking to, I said, hey, that Baltimore defense is pretty good. It's no joke. And so I'm happy that the Bengals are going to move on, but not surprised that this game was a little competitive because of that Raven defense. Got Lamar Jackson plays, and I would have loved for him to play, because when you got a good team like the Bengals and Baltimore, right, you want all the star players to play. That's what makes the game really interesting. So hopefully Lamar Jackson can get healthy, whatever the issue may be, and hopefully we'll see him next year playing, because that just makes and the NFL, the game's a lot better when Lamar Jackson is playing for the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see if he comes back. We'll see how that injury is, man. There was some talks that he was going to be back, then he wasn't going to be back, then he was going to be back. So I'm not sure exactly what is going on with him, but definitely hope he gets well and we'll see him back on the football field next year. So definitely looking forward to the Bengals playing. That AFC is going to be really good next week and the week after. So definitely looking forward to some more football next week. And then we'll talk about last night's game. You had the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Tampa to play the Buccaneers. I'm a big time Cowboy fan. I've been like that all my life, but I was really concerned. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was really concerned about the way the Cowboys had been playing. Could they go into Tampa? I was talking all week with different people. I picked the Dallas Cowboys. I'm probably always going to pick the Dallas Cowboys, even when I think they're going to lose. I'm probably going to pick them. They would just have to be really bad for me to pick against them. But I always want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And so I predicted that the Cowboys would win the game. They did win the game last night, 31-14. Dak Prescott, 25 of 33 for 305 yards, 4 TDs, but more importantly, no interceptions. Tom Brady for the Buccaneers, 35 of 66 for 351 yards, 2 TDs. He had that one interception in the red zone. So to me, I'll go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers first. Boy, Tom Brady to me looked really horrible. This team had been struggling all season, and they had a lot of injuries. Tampa did, but they kind of, got somewhat little together this last game. So, people that I talked to said, man, that's the GOAT. I mean, Tom Brady, I mean, you can't ever count him out, which is true. So I think Tampa Bay could win. I mean, look at Dallas. If you look at the last 3 games, right? They didn't play really good against the Texans. They didn't play really good against the Titans, and they lost to the Commanders. Dak Prescott throwing, all these interceptions and stuff, not looking really good. We know that the Cowboys one week can be really great. They look just like unstoppable, and then they come in the next week and we don't even know who the heck this team is. There's some questions on Kellen Moore and his play calling and all this other stuff. So there's just a lot of stuff, right? So I wanted the Cowboys to win, but I was really, really concerned. Would we go in there if this was a close game? And Tom Brady has the ball with about 4 minutes left. We almost know what's going to happen. It's just going to be another thing where we end up losing at the very last and go home like we did last. I mean, just a lot of things going through my mind. But I was really shocked at the way that the Dallas Cowboys came out, the way Dak Prescott performed last night, throwing no interceptions. He was in a rhythm. He started off a little like, oh, here we go again, but boy, he got it together. And just, no one really broke out with a big game over 100 yards, but throwing the ball to Dalton Schultz, a CD Lamb, um, uh, Michael Gallup, Tony Pollard. I mean, just a great performance. The offensive line, got to give them a lot of credit. Dak really wasn't under a lot of pressure. They really did a good job of protecting him, giving him the time to throw. So just a great performance by the players. The defense came up big. I think one time this season where the offense and defense played really good. We've seen it a couple of times with the Vikings, but in a playoff game on the road, man, this was great. The defense just harassing. And I said this before the game started, right? I said, you don't have to tackle Tom Brady or sack him. You just got to rush him. If you can get him out of rhythm, if you can make him feel that pressure, then he has to throw the ball. And he's not that great Tom Brady, right? And you saw that. They got a couple of sacks on him, but they rushed him a lot. They block, they throws the ball and they're jumping in his face and making it difficult for him. And then you saw Tom Brady throw a lot of these passes, kind of low, little high, out of rhythm. He throws that interception in the red zone. You don't see Tom Brady do stuff like that. All that's due to the pressure, I believe. So I always said, you don't have to worry about Tom Brady running. I mean, he's not a Jalen Hurts. He's not a Kyler Murray or Daniel Jones. He's not going to run. And you saw when he felt that pressure, just kind of threw the ball away, right? Just, I'm not going to get tackled. I'm not going to get hit. Just throw the ball away. So just getting this guy in his face, making him feel the pressure, I think would have been enough. And sure enough, it happened that way. So the defense played a great job. Tom Brady could never really get in the rhythm. and just a great job by that Dallas defense. On the offensive side, I thought they had to run the ball a little bit, a little more, with Tony Pollard. But just the play calling by Kellen Moore. And that's what I'm talking about when I criticize Kellen Moore, right? Is you got Dak Prescott, you've got weapons. You got CeeDee Lamb, you got a great tight end, you got a couple of good receivers. Now you got Ty Hilton, the speedster there. You got Zeke Elliott, who can still give you that power run, a couple of yards if you need it, especially in that goal line when you need to get a touchdown. You got Tony Pollard, who I think is a nightmare for linebackers to have to cover him. He's elusive, he's explosive, with Ezekiel Elliott, who is not that explosive and elusive like he used to be, but he's still got the power. So you got a running back that's a power. You got another guy that's explosive, can make people miss, bad matchup for linebackers to have to come up. You can break tackles, and you got those receivers. You got a decent offensive line. You got a great tight end, and then you've got Dak Prescott. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to score. A lot of that is your play calling and getting yourself in situations where you run the ball and you get it to the open guy. You kind of see what that defense is doing, right? And then you make those guys, you create the matchup, right? And I think he did a great job in this game, faking on fourth down, faking that run and running Dak out, and Dak had an opportunity to either throw it. He had a tight end open in the end zone, or he could run it in, and he ran it in. So the play calling overall was phenomenal from Kellen Moore, and that's what Dallas Cowboy fans expect from this guy, right? Is you need to call plays like that more. Sometimes we look good, other times it's like, what are you doing? So utilizing everybody, getting everybody involved. Nobody really getting over 100 yards in the air, but just everybody making big plays, just passing that ball around, Dak running the ball, getting the ball to Pollard, letting him do what he did. And then Zeke, these guys really didn't have big yardage, but those 3-4 yards that they got, that Tampa Bay defense has to respect that. And then you get off that play action, and then it helps you with the pass. So you don't have to get 15, 20 yards every time you run, but if you're effective with 3 or 4 yards, they got to respect that run, right? And then the pass comes into play. So I thought overall, the Cowboys did really great offensively and defensively. If there's one flaw that I would say that was concerning, was the extra point or field goal kicker. Not sure in the times that I have seen football, the NFL, I don't think I can recall of course, the extra point now it's further than it was before, but I don't think I've ever seen a field goal kicker miss 4 extra points. I mean, it was like, okay, you missed the first one. All right, it happens. He missed the second one. I was like, man, dude, I mean, you got to get this crap together here, man. I mean, if you don't start making these extra points, this guy right here, Tom Brady, we're going to end up losing by a point or two because we can't get these field goals. So when they scored again, I said, hey, I mean, not a field goal, but the extra point. I said, you know what? We need to go for the two points. And McCarthy went back with him, and he missed the third one. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You can't. I mean, this is your job. You can't miss 3 extra points. This could cost us. And then when I didn't think it could get any worse, he missed a fourth one. So I've never seen anything like this. I think he's made some great shots. Not sure what was happening. I kind of thought maybe he was throwing the game. I don't know, but definitely reports I read where they're going to try to work with him. I mean, I don't think you get rid of the guy during the playoffs. I mean, he's good, but boy, I'm not sure what happened to him in that game. But we can't have that moving forward. I mean, you've got to, if you score, especially with the next opponent in the 49ers, every point is critical. So his field goals, his extra points, they're going to matter. So just the fact that he missed 4, very concerning as I sit here and do this podcast. Not sure what contributed to that. I don't even think he knows what it was. But the fact that you miss one and you can't get it together, and you miss the second one, and then you can't get it together, and you miss the third one, and then you miss 4. I mean, that's got to be concerning to everybody in that organization, to Jerry Jones, to Mike McCarthy, to the special teams guy. I mean, I would turn around if I was McCarthy and say, look, you got to straighten this guy out. I mean, we got to figure out what the issue is and get him back on track, because we're going to need him in that next round. Maybe we didn't need him this round, thank God, but the next round you will need him. And his leg is going to be critical especially if you need him for a long field goal. You want this guy to have the confidence that he can make the shot. You don't want a field goal kicker going into next week still kind of in mentally, I missed four. You got to have this guy ready to go and be willing to make a 60 yard or 61 yarder if needed. So not sure how they're going to work with him, but man, he's got to turn it around really quickly and not give a performance like he did the last night. But again, we luckily that we had a big lead and it didn't come down. Those points did not come back to haunt us, but we can't have that again. I think that was the only downfall to the game last night. Other than that, I think the Cowboys played great. Van Der Esch is back. You saw him all over the field last night, and just in the face of people, hitting people, putting his hands up and touching those passes, those balls when they were thrown. Just played a great game. Micah Parson and his D line guys getting in the putting pressure on Brady. They'll have to put more pressure on Purdy when they play the San Francisco 49ers. And so, I'll come back next week, probably in a couple of days before Saturday, the playoffs start, maybe like on Friday, Thursday or Friday. Got other podcasts I got to do. So I got to look at when I can actually break this um, second round of the NFL, which I will before the game start and give my predictions. But as far as the breakdown for these games, they were great outside of Seattle losing to the 49ers. I thought all the other games, the Cowboys, of course, I love that Cowboy game because they're my team, but the other teams very competitive: Baltimore, Cincinnati, New York, Minnesota, Miami, Buffalo, Chargers, and Jaguars. I think if you're an NFL fan, this is what you want to see. Very competitive game coming down to the final wire. So I think the games were really great. And I expect to see better games next week. But again, I'll remind you that I'll be coming on every day or every other day. It'll just be an audio. It's not going to be video when I do these because they're pretty quick, 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And just talking on the universal sports, we just talk professional and college sports, right? So we can go from football. Tomorrow I may talk NBA. I may talk UFC. I may talk softball. I love the Houston Astros. So when baseball season comes, I'll definitely be talking here. I may throw 5 or 6 topics of different things, coaches being fired, injury to players, whatever is hitting the headline. I may just come up here and talk about. So some days it would just be baseball. Some days it may be baseball, football, and basketball. But it'll be on audio, and you can catch it on my Universal Sports Twitter and Facebook page. You can also catch it, the audio on Anchor, Spotify. Spotify, you can just go GT Sports. There's a football with the GT Sports on there, and all of the podcasts that I do are on there. Now, some of the podcasts are live, and some are not. These that I do here, they're real quick, so I don't want to put my out there on video. It's just an audio. Hopefully to engage people. You can engage with me through comments. When I put this on there on the comment section, you can tell me what you think about what I said, or maybe you agree or disagree, but I kind of want to have interaction with people. And don't forget that I have the audio channel on GT Sports Poll Facebook page. So there is an audio channel that was created that I have open. I don't have it open now because I'm on the podcast, so I wouldn't be able to communicate with people. But as soon as I get off, I'll be on, and I'll share a link to the GT Sports Poll Facebook page, where if you want to just click on the link. I believe I'm still learning how to do it, but I think you click on the link and it'll take you to where we're at, and you just kind of drop in, join the audio, and then you're on, and then you can communicate with us. There'll be people probably already talking on there. I'll definitely see you pop up, and I'll ask you what you want to talk about. We talk whatever. We talk football. We talk high school, college, professional. We can talk whatever you want to talk about. There might be 3 people on. There might be 10 people on. You got people from our area, people from up north, down south, west, people from out of state can tune in. So it's a lot of fun. It's just to talk sports. I kind of see it like, we're at the barbershop and we're talking sports. That's what we're doing, but we're online chatting. And somebody asked me, can we use profanity? I said, man, you can vent if you want. It's not live. Just respect each other. But yeah, you say whatever you got to say, however you say. You ain't gonna offend me. I don't use too much profanity, but Every now and then a word might slip out, but I want you to come on. I want you to interact. I want to hear what you got to say. And like I said, we can talk softball, we can talk baseball, we can talk high school soccer, we can talk volleyball, we can talk football, we can talk college football, we can talk Longhorns, we can talk Lakers, we can talk Milwaukee Bucks, we can talk whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about. The audio channel is called Real Sports Fans, and it is on the GT Sports Facebook page. So you can also vote. And then, like I said, you can jump on when I'm on live. And I try to, when I'm not live, but I can when I'm on, I try to put it on even when I'm doing some work, so people can jump on and off anytime they want. And feel free to come on and talk about whatever you want to talk about. You might even be able to engage with other people. We hope to get at least 25, 30 people at one time. Keep it going. People can come in and come out. But I like to interact with you guys, see what you're feeling, see what team you like. And I can share with you who I like. And we can talk and just chit chat about sports. I love sports, and I can talk sports 24/7. I almost do that now, but that's what the audio channel was created for. So, like I said, you don't have to put your camera on. When you come on, you're on without the camera. We can just hear your voice now. Your profile picture will pop up if that's a picture of you or a picture of whoever you got. That's what will pop up, and that's what other people will see. But you do, once you're on, you can turn on your camera. Should you choose to do that, then people would see. But you come on, you join on with the camera off. I keep mine off, and we just communicate like we're doing now through audio. So a lot of fun. It's just to kind of hear what you guys have to say. It's kind of a way to pass the day. If you really love sports, that's why I called it Real Sports Fans, because when you come on, we're talking sports. We ain't talking anything else but sports. So if you're a real sports fan and you really want to talk, this is the place to come. Come to Real Sports Fans. It's an audio channel. It's on the GT Sports Poll Facebook page. But like I said, I think you might have to be a member. So if you're not, send me a request. I'll accept you. And I think you can. I might be wrong. You may not need to, because it's a general a group, but I'm not sure. But definitely, I will share the link to that page, and you can just click on it, and then you just pop in, and we start talking sports. And if you pop in and there's a conversation going, the only thing I would ask is just kind of wait, obviously, till one's done, and then the next one can talk and so forth and so on. So I'll definitely acknowledge you, but it's just to have fun, pass some time, and talk sports. So again, if you're a real sports fan, go to GT Sports Poll, Real Sports Fans audio channel, and let's talk sports. So thank you. My name is Gabriel Trevino, Universal Sports Podcast, episode number 1. Like I said, I'll be on every day or every other day for a few minutes just to talk, daily sports. We will be talking more UFC, more boxing. I'm definitely looking to get more into that. There's some good fights coming up. I love boxing. So definitely going to be talking about boxing. And then, of course, like I said, we can even talk some golf and some tennis if you want to. We talk football. We talk high school, college, or professional sports. So once again, I'll see you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the next day. But we'll just talk all kinds of sports. So until then, you can catch this podcast on our Universal Sports Facebook and Twitter page. You can also catch it right now on Anchor and on Spotify. We're looking to expand more to Google Podcast, I believe, and others in the coming days or a week. So tune into that. Anchor and Facebook, just audio, but it's all going to be audio when I do it. So definitely, if you want to chat in with me, you can do it through my audio channel, or you can just hit me up with a question on our comment section. Until then, man, have a great night. Looking forward to the second round. The Dallas Cowboys are in next week. Will be tough. So I'll be breaking that game down here probably on Thursday or Friday, letting you know my prediction. Can the Dallas Cowboys upset the San Francisco 49ers? We shall see, but there'll be some good games on Saturday and Sunday. Definitely looking forward to football on the weekend. Until then, though, we'll be talking sports here on GT Sports Poll. You can vote when I put it up there. There's the audio channel once again, or you can hit me up on the comment sections. Until then, man, have a great evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.